Language is at the heart of all human interaction. We use words to express our thoughts, share our experiences, and learn new concepts. And the words we use shape those thoughts, experiences, and concepts for our minds. Not being able to communicate with others, read signs, or engage in daily tasks can be profoundly disempowering. It increases protection risk and further deepens the distress of displacement. For students and learners, being comfortable with the language used to teach them can easily be the difference between reaching their full potential and falling to the side. And yet, there remains an unmet need to seriously think about language as part of quality education for refugee and displaced learners. Refugee and internally displaced children and youth, in particular, are often forced to flee to places where the language of instruction is one they do not speak. This affects both access to education and the quality of learning. If language learning needs are not addressed early in an emergency, this can delay or impede access to formal education and can have a profound impact on both retention and education progression. More needs to be done. There is a need for additional funds to discuss and advance effective curricular and pedagogical strategies as well as available tools and possible gaps together with the affected populations. This means enhancing practical efforts and intervention for language planning in education in emergency settings. To promote multilingualism, dialogue with community stakeholders are key to deliberate the role of different languages and how they should be fostered. More information is needed on how policymakers and the teaching community can draw on the strength of multiple languages to boost learning for all in a linguistically diverse settings. We understand, of course, that there are important factors that make this a difficult subject. With language being closely tied to national and political identity, it's important to recognize that language is always deeply politically and linked to particular challenges. We also need to consider the tension between the importance of home language instruction and the inclusion of displaced learners in national school system to facilitate school access, persistence, quality, and sustainability, all of which are key for children and youth futures. So let's speak sense, have a practical conversation about language, acknowledging the real challenges and proposing realistic solutions. We need to highlight language right as a human right. We need to invest more for refugee and internally displaced children and youth who are likely to undergo instruction in a language they do not understand. We must do all we can to make sure they reach their full potential.